What's up, guys? This video was originally posted on our Minnesota Vikings YouTube channel. Now, obviously, you are seeing this on our draft channel. We're trying to grow it here at Chat Sports, so go hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. And when you're down there, just let me know what your favorite team in the NFL is. Welcome to the Vikings Now. I am your host for today's show, Patrick Seatman. And on today's show, we got a full 7-round Minnesota Vikings 2023 mock draft with also some trades. This is going to be a ton of fun. I'm very excited to kind of dive into this. The draft is around 3 weeks away, and I can't wait to see what players the Vikings bring to the roster in this upcoming year. But speaking about this upcoming year, Vegas put the Vikings win total at 8.5 wins. So I'm just going to ask you guys this. Do you guys think it will be over or under that? Type O for over and type U for under. I'm definitely going to be typing my O's in the comments section. I think the Vikings are maybe getting even a little disrespected right now from Vegas. But chime in first really quickly, O for over or U for under. Now, if we're taking a look at what picks the Vikings have in this upcoming draft, not a whole bunch. They actually only had 4 picks, but then due to the compensatory picks, they actually got a 5th one. It's right now 23rd overall, 87th, 119, 158, and 211. But at round 1, number 23 overall, I have the Minnesota Vikings taking Bijan Robinson. Now, hold on. I know you guys might be saying, we got Dalvin Cook, we got Alexander Madison. Just wait on just a second. But Bijan, I think he's a great prospect. He's got great short area quickness. He's an intellectual playmaker, and he has rare versatility. Like, he doesn't really fall off in the pass-catching game at all, and he dominated this past year at Texas. 258 carries, just under 1,600 yards, just over 6 yards per carry with 18 touchdowns for Bijan. He was a force at Texas. And honestly, I think if this was 2010 with kind of where the league was and where offenses were back in 2010, I think Bijan might have been the number 1 overall pick. Like, I really do believe that. He is that talented of a prospect. Probably the most talented running back prospect we've had since Saquon Barkley. Just the way the NFL has kind of gone, like being more pass-heavy, kind of all the rules are kind of leaning towards kind of favoring the quarterback and favoring the pass game. I really do believe if this was 2010, early 2010s, Bijan might have been the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. But I'm going to make this the pin comment on today's show. Would you draft Bijan Robinson at 23rd overall? I know this would be a kind of bold pick because obviously the Vikings do have Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison still on the roster. But give me a D for draft or a P for pass at the pin comment on today's show. Get hit with the YouTube ad break, let it play, and go answer today's pin comment. Trade alert. Vikings are trading Dalvin Cook to the Baltimore Ravens for the 86th overall pick. So this was kind of me hopping in my bag a little bit and kind of wondering, how could the Vikings move off of Dalvin Cook? Obviously, there's a lot of speculation he will be traded, and what team could use a running back, and kind of that third-round type of draft compensation that I think it will take to get Dalvin Cook. He ends up in Baltimore, and we get the 86th overall pick for Dalvin Cook, which means the Vikings will be taking Garrett Williams, the cornerback out of Syracuse, with that pick that we got for the Ravens. This also means the Vikings actually draft 86 and 87 now, which I would love. But Garrett Williams, he trusts his technique, and he actually had no penalties over the past 2 seasons at Syracuse. If we can kind of dive into some pros and cons here. Pros, he's got great footwork. The cons, he doesn't really have that top-end speed you would want for a true man-to-man corner in a Flores system. But he plays under control. Like I said, he had no penalties over the past 2 seasons. And one con I have noticed on his tape, he plays the man a lot more rather than the ball. And us Vikings fans know that Cameron Dantzler, he fell victim to that a ton. He would just play the man instead of actually playing the football. And also another pro for him, he's a really good run defender. He is a very physical corner. He's not scared to step up and make plays in the run game. And honestly, drafting Garrett Williams would help this Vikings cornerback room out a lot. Because right now, Byron Murphy's sitting at cornerback 1 for the Vikes. And if you notice, there's only 5 names on this depth chart right now. The Vikings are going to need to add more names to this group. Caleb Evans, Andrew Booth, both injured last season, but in year 2, I do expect them to hopefully have bigger years for the Vikes. But again, you only really have 3 guys right now in this depth chart that I'm comfortable even rolling out on the football field. So I'm going to ask you guys this. Do you guys think corner is the Vikings' biggest need in the draft? I think it's 100% corner. I will be typing my Y for yes 100% down in the comment section, or give me an N for no. If you think it's something different, maybe like a linebacker, maybe safety, or whatever it may be, just let me know in the comments section. And also, hit that subscribe button while you're answering that question today. Just go down there in the comments while you're answering today's questions on today's show. Just go down there, hit that subscribe button. Now, at the 87th overall pick, I have the Vikings addressing the linebacker room by drafting Dorian Williams, the linebacker out of Tulane. Fun fact about him, he was a team captain this past season, and he was a 3-year starter at Tulane, and he plays with great instincts, and he has great knee bend. And what I mean, he can really get low in getting around the opposing team's offensive linemen, and hey, he was a freak at the combine. I mean, look at these results here. He ran a 4.49 40-yard dash. His 10-yard split in that 40-yard dash was 1.54. He had a 33.5 vertical inch jump, and also broad jump sitting at 10 inches, which is in the higher half of the linebackers at the combine. But this Vikings linebacker group, you're going to need to address it in the draft. Listen, I'm a fan of Jordan Hicks, but I don't love him. You guys know I'm a huge Brian Asamoah guy. The speed he brings, I think he could really flourish under Brian Flores. But again, you only have 4 names on this group heading into next season. And personally, I think Asamoah, pairing him up with Dorian Williams, I think that would be absolutely electric. I think they're both fast linebackers that are versatile, and Brian Flores could really have his way with these 2 guys. I think, Brian Asamoah, expect him to have a big season, more of that kind of typical Brian Flores linebacker that he likes. But Dorian Williams, Brian Asamoah could be electric. And hey, if Dorian Williams is taken by the Vikes, he will be wearing these hats on draft night. And we got a great deal going on for you guys. If you just go to chatsports.com/Vikings draft, you can either get the flat brim right here, or you can also get the curved brim. I think the curved brim is actually a sweet look. These draft hats have definitely taken a step up from last year's draft hats, which I wasn't really a fan of. But these, I think they look pretty cool, and we got a great deal for you guys going on. Just head to chatsports.com/Vikings draft. Next pick, round 4, I got the Vikings addressing the defensive tackle position by getting Moro Ojomo. What a great name that is. But he was a 3-year starter, and he has incredibly active hands on the D-line. You always see him making moves with his hands, trying to get to the opposing team's running back or quarterback. And the number one thing I like about him, and a lot of the draft analysis kind of said the same, he rallies to the football until the whistle blows. This is a dude who's going to play all the way up until the whistle, and I just love that out of your defensive lineman. Taking a look at his combine results here, he did run a 5-second 40-yard dash. That 10-second split during that 40 was 1.77. But hey, for a big fella, giving a 33-inch vertical jump, kind of shows that athleticism there. His broad jump was 9 feet and 4 inches. And then his bench press, where they're repping out 225 on the bench, was at 29 reps, which is pretty solid. But this Vikings defensive line group, again, you're going to need to upgrade it, and I think he would do a great job doing so. Dean Lowry, we picked him up from the Green Bay Packers. He's been honestly, I think he was one of the more underrated pickups of this NFL free agency period. I love Harrison Phillips. Chris Tonga, I like him. Don't love him, though. I think if you would add a guy like Moro in there, I think he could maybe not start right away, but down the road, he could be a potential starter for the Minnesota Vikings. If you guys want more of these mock drafts, we haven't really done too many of them on the channel right now. Show me. Just hit that subscribe button. I think these are fun to do with the draft only 3 weeks away. This would be a great way to show me that you guys want more mock drafts. I can hop in there and see how many subs we actually get from this specific video. So if you guys want more mock drafts, just go down there, hit that subscribe button. It's completely free, and it helps us out. And if you're watching still during this video, you kind of like what we do here, so go hit that sub button. Now, this is my favorite pick of probably my whole mock draft, is Bryce Ford-Wheaton, the wide receiver out of West Virginia. The Vikings obviously have question marks at that wide receiver 2 spot. I do expect it to be KJ Osborne or maybe even an Odell Beckham, but probably KJ Osborne. And then that leaves that wide receiver 3 spot open to a lot of different options. But Bryce Ford-Wheaton, he's 6'4", 221 pounds. He's got a big frame. He's got this huge, massive wingspan. And last year at West Virginia, he was a jump ball specialist. But man, take a look at these combine results here. This is what kind of excites me about him as a prospect. He ran a 4.38 40 at 6'4", 221. That 10-yard split on that 40, 1.54 seconds. He's got a 41-inch vertical jump. This is the big negative about him. His 3-cone drill, 6.97, not really in the top. He's not in the top 50th percentile of that, but that's fine. He's a huge kind of boomer bust type of prospect here. And the production last year at West Virginia, it's not going to blow you away. He only had 62 receptions, 675 yards, just under 11 yards per catch with 7 touchdowns. His production did not live up to, I guess, his physical attributes at West Virginia. And honestly, I think this is a boomer bust pick. I think with the upside he has due to his physical traits, with being 6'4", 221 pounds, has that 41-inch vertical jump, and then that 4.38 40-yard dash. I mean, if he ends up working out, and if you pair him next to Jefferson, Hockenson, and KJ Osborne, and those 3 receivers are Jefferson, Osborne, and Wheaton, that could be something to watch for. Keep your eyes out on him as an early day 3 pick in this year's NFL draft. Now we got the Vikings taking the dude with the longest name in the NFL draft is Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the quarterback out of UCLA. Guys, this would be your Kirk Cousins replacement. He's a very solid dual-threat quarterback. And honestly, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, if you watch his highlights, I mean, you're probably watching him and you're like, man, how is this guy not going in the 4th, 5th round? He'll probably be a 6th or 7th round pick. But if we're going over some pros and cons for him, out of all 4 years he's been at UCLA under Chip Kelly, he has shown steady improvement every single year. And I just like that out of a quarterback, obviously out of any prospect, but especially a quarterback, you want to see improvement. Cons he has. He loses track of zone defenders. He'll kind of be sitting back in the pocket, and he'll think something's open, but he'll forget there's a zone there on that side, and it could lead to interceptions. Another pro, like I mentioned, great dual threat ability. I mean, he really does use his legs very well. And I think I like about him, he uses his legs more as a kind of icing on the cake instead of the actual cake, if you get what I'm saying. So I like his dual threat ability. It's not all he has to offer, but again, a solid dual threat quarterback. And another con, he's a below average deep ball passer, but a pro, he's a great improviser. Kind of speaks to his dual threat ability. He's great outside the pocket. He's great at making plays. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I think he would be a great pick to kind of be that Kirk Cousins replacement. Won't play right away, a more developmental pick, but again, he's going to have to sit behind Kirk for a year anyways. Might as well take a shot on him. So here's my overall Vikings mock draft. I got Bijan at the first pick, number 23 overall. I know some of you guys probably won't be the biggest fan of that. But again, we got creative here. Bijan, he's an all-world talent. Garrett Williams, definitely need to address the cornerback position. Dorian Williams, definitely have to address the linebacker position in this year's draft. Moro, Ojomo, the defensive tackle out of Texas. And then my favorite kind of boomer bust day 3 prospect, Bryce Ford-Wheaton, the wide receiver out of West Virginia. And then, hey, I got creative with the last one. I decided to go Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the quarterback out of UCLA. But get down in the comments. I'll ask you this one more time. Grade my Minnesota Vikings mock draft. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. As always, Skol Vikes.